Well, if you think we easy in Grenada where music are concerned, man, joke you're making. For catchy words from the lyrics of popular songs found their way into our Grenadian daily talk. So when a neighbor, for instance, looked out of the window and shouted unflattering words in the air, those words were often directed at who the cap fit. Words from a popular Bob Marley song, and those the cap fit were never or always anxious to wear them. The song Express Yourself, and here we used to be saying the words express yourself. Big hit during the 1970s when Charles Wright and the Watts 103rd Street Rhythm Band sang that song. The words Express Yourself were heard all over Grenada. Individuals express themselves in various ways. Now, some of us who try to express ourselves too much in school or at home found out that express yourself had its limitations, and our parents and teachers had ways to let us know that. The leather belt sometimes restricted us from expressing ourselves too much. I knew a bus owner. He loved the song As Usual. You know that song As Usual by Brenda Lee? Well, he loved that song so much he gave his wooden bus the name As Usual. Who traveled on the bus as usual? Another man called his bus Haley Roy. Haley Roy from Jimmy Castor's song with the words, Haley Roy, your mama calling you. I can still hear the voice of my mother. She called out from her window at night to a neighbor, and her words still echo. Good night, Irene. Good night. Good night, Irene. Well, that goes all the way back to the 19th century. A big hit on the charts in the United States when the Weavers sang it. Now, Good Night, Irene was recorded by the American blues singer Huddie Ledbelly in 1932 first. What about Hit the Road Jack? I recall the words said to the good-for-nothing husbands or boyfriends when the lovers became fed up with the cheating ways or the drunkenness. Hit the road, Jack, they were angrily told. And depending on the extent of the rage, they might even add, and don't come back no more, no more, no more, no more, don't come back. Lines directly from Ray Charles' hit, Hit the Road, Jack, Hit the Road, Jack. Mr. Big Stuff, who the hell you think you are? I must include. A fella might drive a big fancy car, wore expensive clothes, and tried to impress all the women. But some women, boy, he ain't getting them with that, you know. He had to come better than that. He was not always successful, but there were women, and always women, who saw right through that. And they knew, and they still know, that he's a no-brain Mr. Big Stuff. Mr. Big Stuff, and who do you think you are, Mr. Big Stuff? Asks Jean Knight in a clear rebuke to all the Mr. Big Stuff. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. And there were times one had to resign himself, herself, to whatever the future had in store. And his song echoed that attitude. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future is not ours to see. Que sera, sera. And many versions of that song exist, including a rendition by Doris Day. What about Great Pretender? The Great Pretender by the Platters, released in 1955. The lyrics of that great song was somehow interpreted to represent people who were not sincere, or those who tried to show themselves in a light that was not a true representation of themselves. And that is so true in life, because I'll tell you something, there are some people, they go all the way to make things appear to be what they are not. You come here to drink milk, or you come here to conquer. Memorable words, lines from the song by Barbados twin ambassadors of spooge music. Some of us used to dance a spooge, but I'm here talking about the Draytons too. Those words were often asked of people who were not serious-minded about business transactions, and what all they were doing is just wasting precious time. You ain't see nothing yet. You ain't see nothing yet. You remember that? One of the catchy tunes that was often repeated in Grenada was, "You ain't see nothing yet." A classmate I had back in St. John's Christian Secondary School, he was fond of those lines. The words were taken from the rock song, "You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet," 1974, written by Randy Bachman and presented by Bachman Toner Overdrive. The song was played a lot, boy, on the radio station in Grenada, and the saying became popular. In those days, well, Radio Grenada treated our ears to various musical genres. You know, your classical. I remember in Gary's time, you had music for your listening pleasure, your lunchtime listening pleasure. Now, one who was sure of excelling far above his or her present performance would use such words to emphasize a greater achievement was imminent. And yes, the song, "You ain't see nothing yet. Better days are coming. Things are going to happen. Good things." A parent calling a child would say, "You ain't see nothing yet," to let that child know that more punishment was likely. More blows, boy. You ain't see nothing yet. And you want something to cry for? Big girls don't cry. Parents use the words, "Big girls don't cry" to the female children when they were sad or they cried. Those words came from "Big Girls Don't Cry" song originally recorded by Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. You think I didn't know music, eh? We ain't stupid in Grenada, you know. We ain't stupid. You can get it if you really want it. And Born to Win. Words of songs that inspired hope. I recall Jimmy Cliff's words, "You can get it if you really want it," and the words "Born to Live" by Kevin Davidson. What about A Rainy Night in Georgia? Oh, that song brings back so much memories. Sitting here in Brooklyn, man, and the rainy night. Back then, the rain on the galvanized and Teresita mango falling. And I come out in the rain to look for mango when the rain fall. Rainy night, not in Georgia, you know, in Grenada. But yes, there was a song, "Rainy Night in Georgia." And there were songs, of course, rain songs, I call them, popular songs. I recall a woman called Cynthia looking through her window during the tropical downpour and shouting to my mother, "Georgiana, it's a rainy night in Georgia." That time rain falling, boy, bucket a drop, rain for so, and she shouting. You see, boy, we are wise and attentive to music from abroad. All over, you can't catch us with music. I wrote a piece on that in my first book. Recollections of an Island Man. Can't catch us with music because I stood in an elevator in Manhattan once and a woman heard me singing a Charlie Pride song and she said, "But how you know that? Where you get it?" I said, "I grew up in Grenada, you know, and we knew all kind of songs and music." Raindrops keep falling on my head. A popular one. Yes, I remember that. And I like that song too. You know. There was another song. Yes. That's I just mentioned. Raindrops keep falling on my head. But I have to tell you it was by B.J. Thompson. And that hit by the Spice Island Airwaves. And we said those words when we were walking in the rain. Raindrops are falling on my head. It used to fall on our ears too. Who'll stop the rain? Still on the topic of the rain songs. During the periods of heavy rain. Common to hear people shout. Who'll stop the rain? Words came from a popular song by Creedence Clearwater Revival. And what about the song It Never Rains in Southern California? Albert Hammond's It Never Rains in Southern California often made us think of the dry season in Grenada. And once there was a time when all the south was to be just arid, dry. You see how kind of trees growing down there now. Yes, rain hardly used to fall in the southern part. It was dry, but now, well, climate change will tell us. Blowing in the wind, the answer is blowing in the wind. Taken from Bob Dylan's song. It became our stock response to any imponderable or we are confronted with any situation, imponderable situation. We felt wise and strangely sad when we spoke the words. Blowing in the wind, the answer is blowing in the wind. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, hang down your head and die. Words from the chorus of a song, Tom Dooley by Kingston Tro. It came into popular use in Grenada as a kind of pitiful lament for anyone who was condemned for murder or killing, murder. Our neighbor, Mr. Rashida, you said the words when a certain individual was convicted and sentenced to hang. His name was Precious. You remember Precious? He said, "Hang down your head, Tom Judy. Hang down your head, Tom Julie. Hang down your head and die." Afraid Carl. Chalk does it. Afraid Carl. People who were too scared to be involved in situations that stirred conflicts use the words, "Afraid Carl." This expression originated from a song sung by the Calypsonian Chalk Dust, referring to the feared former Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, Carl Hudson Phillip, when they tell us he had Grenadian roots. Rican, a young, unkempt man without ambition. Well, they call he a Rican. The original Rican was a character from a song by the Antiguan Calypsonian King Short Shirt. And this one will make you laugh. If the priest could play Who Is Me? Well, it's carnival time, and boy, this was a sort of an encouragement to a lot of people to play mass. And now it's the carnival season. Stay with us. So if the priest could play Who Is Me? This saying became popular in Grenada after the Calypsonian, the mighty cipher. He sang a song with those words. A priest took part in the carnival celebrations in Trinidad. Well, it was unprecedented and it shocked many people. The expression was used by Grenadians whenever someone in a prominent position did something unusual and one felt inclined to emulate or follow fashion the deed. If the priest could play, Who Is Me? No money, no love. Boy, those words have real good meaning and significance these days, you know. Yeah, money, kapos buke pipe, boy. Kapos buke pipe. Calypso King of the World, he recently celebrated, I think, his 90th birthday. God bless him. Sparrow sang a song on the impracticability. I get that word wrong. Impracticality. I had to say these things correct, you know. Sometimes when you're in a late night like this, what time it is? It's 4 o'clock. You see all kind of thing. But it's just straight from the mouth there, so pardon the errors. Yes, Sparrow sang a song, and the slogan, no money, no love, no money, no love, it passed into widespread use and put love-struck poor suitors at some disadvantage. You have no money, you're looking for a woman. Eh? You're broke like hell. What did Shadow say? When somebody go horn you, you get horn. A mother's love. Sparrow also advocated in song for the sacredness of a mother's love. He sang, every day should be Mother's Day. Now, remember Jericho? Jericho was a popular Grenadian radio announcer. Bless his soul, rest his soul, Jericho. He got his name according to my friend, a friend of mine, Bell, Mr. Bell. He told me how Jericho got the name because Kitchener had a song. Kitchener, the Calypsonian from Trinidad, who sang, they're looking for Jericho, Jericho in the... And I had a friend, in fact, I taught him at St. John's Christian Secondary School, Patrick, and we called him Jericho also. Passed away. Good guy. God rest and his soul. So yes, they're looking for Jericho, Jericho in the... Jericho became the elusive character in every Caribbean community. Jericho was also an immensely popular radio personality, as I said a while ago, in Grenada. Jericho, Jericho. Sweet and dandy. You ever heard the word sweet and dandy? Yeah, for reggae tune. Toots and the Metals. We learned that when conditions were good, everything was sweet and dandy. When things nice, boy, sweet and dandy. Lose your job, you go see how sweet and dandy that could become. And this, you would agree with me when I say there are more questions than answers. There are more questions. Remember Johnny Nash's song, there are more questions than answers. We are advised to temper our curiosity with the words, there are more questions than answers. These lyrics came to us from this song by American singer and songwriter Johnny Nash. And sometimes we learn that there are more questions than answers. Our grandma used to say, boy, there's more in the mortar than the pestle. Look good, you might find more. More questions than answers. Face the music. A call to accept the results of consequences of one's action. You reap what you sow. You plant blogo, Trinidadians say moko. Don't expect to reap kalalu or soursop. You reap what you sow. Jam to the music. Well, you dance and enjoy the musical vibrations. And what about music in your wire? Carnival, music in your wire, boy. This refers to the compelling, pulsating music that makes people dance. Get up and shake a leg. When last you shake a leg, eh? I ask you that. When last you shake a leg? And now, I'll leave you with a poem. Music in your wire. The music, the bands played a musical inferno in the dead of night. awakening all those lost in a dream, the pulsating songs from the lion's den. Perched high on a hill, the echoes race down to the carronades. Music, music, music. Black Experience Band livened up the air. Drums and strings conspired to tug dancing feet. A volcano in fiery flow erupted at the lion's den, and lovers embraced and smiled in the enticing breeze while the music played. Music in your wire. Wind your waist, man. Wind your waist. Walk up your waist. Enjoy. One life to live. And if you ever was lucky, fortunate to party at what we call across the bridge, Clancy Island, Lego Beach Island, boy, as the Barbadian would say, ma, if you never party there at Lego Beach Island, ma, you never party yet. So yes, we good and we class, eh? The variation, the Grenadian mind will shock some people worldwide. Because when we speak with knowledge. Anthony Wendell, the Rigs. And you can see the piece I just read because it is taken from my book, my most recent book, We Kinda Talk. Documentation is crucial. God bless.